Hi, welcome to the Ransomware Interviews. I'm Dave Klein, Director and Evangelist for Simulate. This month, as you know, we have our ransomware survey. So we're looking for all of you to go out and take that survey. We want to hear what you have to say, and we will, of course, aggregate the results and do a results webinar and video to explain what we found. But as part of this whole ransomware campaign, I want to do a series of interviews with people who are very important to me in the industry, who I've worked with in the past and who I trust, and talk about ransomware from various angles. And today, I'm very happy to be joined by Seth Hammerman. Seth, how are you?
I'm good, Dave. Thanks for inviting me to be a part of this.
Perfect. Seth and I go way back, and you talk about expert from everything from endpoint to cloud. Seth has been behind all sorts of things from McAfee, Sky High Networks, ForcePoint, Cisco, Netscope, NetForensic, Infoblox. The list is really long. This is a true veteran in cybersecurity. And I really appreciate your knowledge, and I pick your brain often. So, in talking about ransomware, what is the most common entry point for ransomware?
It's the tried and true method, spear phishing or a targeted phishing attack
Mhm.
right through company email. That's the way it's been done, and it continues to be done. I got a really, really convincing one from the Geek Squad this morning that I I would never go to the Geek Squad, so I immediately looked at the header, but compared to what I've seen in the past, it was very convincing, and somebody who is not trained to look for those indicators might have clicked on the link and then um, installed ransomware on their machine and had a very bad day.
Indeed. We've seen all sorts of ones with either attachments or, again, the URL links. And again, they start with that spear phishing coming through the environment and stuff like that. When you look at how enterprises that you work with try to remediate and take care of that initial spear phishing, what are some of the ways that they try to counteract this?
Um, that's a really good question because it's kind of basic and simple. Uh, you can have the best edge devices, on-prem devices, gateways in the cloud, and all that those platforms. But if your users, and especially um, your high value users, usually those C-level folks, if they aren't instructed and they don't know how to spot a phishing email, then all of those defenses aren't going to help you. So again, investing in that kind of education. Um, for instance, we talked about this, sending around a kind of a fish me uh, simulated phishing email on a regular basis to see who passes that test and who doesn't. And if they don't, then they have to sit through some security training. Um, that's a lot better than just trying to throw more money at a problem, in my view. But again, on the platform side, yeah, you should take a look at your web proxies, your cloud gateways, you know, your email gateways. That's another really serious place that you have to bolster up your defenses and make sure they're up to speed and you're not using 1999 technology to solve a 2021 problem.
Correct. I agree with you. It starts with that spear phishing campaign and finding those people who need the extra education, as well as just raising the overall IQ of the staff, who get this and stuff like that. And then you said the
Yep.
web proxy and email gateway security it is essential.
Hmm.
And of course, what we do is offensive testing, right? So the idea of taking those technologies and actually testing them against various types of attacks are definitely ways to find misconfiguration and
Much
problems.
better to, yeah, I didn't talk about that, but it's much better to be proactive and
Yeah.
find these gaps before the bad guys do,
Right.
and they will.
Absolutely, absolutely. On the endpoint side, we've seen a lot of enterprises look at signature-based antivirus and saying, well, this is a commodity. I'm going to go with Windows Defender, and therefore, hey, I'm good to go, right? What are some of the problems with that? And what are some of the inherent ways that you see your customers get beyond and transcend antivirus?
Well, again, you said it. Antivirus has become a commodity, and Windows Defender is part of the operating system. So it's like love it or leave it. Um, and you can do a lot more with an endpoint product that's designed to do those things rather than something that's built into the OS that forces you to do it. Um, but again, it's shouldn't be your leading defense strategy. It should be just part of it. Again, with more and more applications running in the cloud, more data being stored in the cloud, uh, that's the place where you should look at defending. And again, you got to ask yourself, where is my sensitive data?
Yeah.
It's not on-prem. It's not in your data center anymore. I mean, some of it might be, but most of it is where now, right? It's in some type of cloud storage. So,
Agreed.
you got to start with that kind of view of protecting the sensitive data. Having a backup plan, testing that backup plan in case you do get attacked with ransomware and everything gets shut down. Those type of contingency plans and actually testing them out uh, are worth the time and money because you can put a DR plan into place, but if you don't test how long it takes to recover from your backups, then when you really do need to do it, you might find yourself at a loss and your company losing millions of dollars.
Correct. It's a big thing about the risk profile. It is we can do these backups. They'll cost us only this much money, but if we have to recover, it will take 6 months to recover. Or we have to spend this much money, and we are guaranteed the data is back within 24 hours. And so what's interesting is what people are learning is in planning and preparations, they need to really test and understand what something buys them and what it doesn't buy them, right? And the idea of mitigating true risk is understanding things, like you said, how long it takes for a backup to be recovered and things like that is really excellent. Another thing I find, I want to ask you a question on this because you know so much about cloud, is in looking at your customer base and talking to people, is there still a false sense of security when they think, well, I'm going to the cloud, so it's secure? So do people still not understand the cloud security model?
Oh boy, and how? um, you know, uh, we talked about this too, and it's one of the basics about cloud security. And I think the CSA even starts with this, but the shared responsibility model should be top of mind for your folks who are working with data in the cloud. Their data custodians, their data processors. They should all be aware that it's not safe. I mean, Microsoft, of course, will encrypt your data when it's sitting up there in SharePoint or OneDrive, but when it's in transit out of Microsoft, then it is up to the data subject, data owner, data processor, the company, to take the appropriate measures to secure it. That means you've got to know where your data is being shared, where it's being downloaded to, uploaded to. Um, you know, uh, just by getting a piece of malware on a user's machine that has OneDrive Sync turned on, that OneDrive Sync program can distribute that malware throughout the company's
Correct.
OneDrive storage. And,
Correct.
you know, talk about a disaster. Um, these are kind of things that should be top of mind, but unfortunately, people make the assumption that because my data is in one of the big three public clouds, that it's going to be safe. I don't have to worry about it. Again, and the shared responsibility model is different in the three big types of architectures, and customers need to know that the shared responsibility model for SaaS is different than IaaS and different than PaaS.
Correct.
So again, to your point, no. You should not forget about it once you upload it to the cloud. Uh, you know, 180 degrees, you should be a lot more concerned about it and where it's going. And who is taking it there or who is sharing it there. I mean, that's that should be top of mind for everybody who has anything to do with information security in the cloud.
Definitely. Very, very good. Well, really appreciate the time, Seth. So wrapping up this month, again, we have the ransom survey. Would love to hear everyone's feedback and get their results, and we'll share that with everyone. The details are in the notes section of this video, so you can go ahead and take it from here. Again, Seth, thank you so much. We're going to have you on again and really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
My pleasure, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Take care.